How you guys doing today? It's a beautiful day outside. What a weekend we just had, by the way. I mean, Serve Day. You guys are amazing. We're going to throw some pictures up of Serve Day because I am just in love with my church. We had over 400 people across 3 campuses go out across 2 counties. Yeah. Over 400 people out in the community with their Bayshore shirts on, sharing the love of Jesus through serving others. That's all of you together in so many pictures. We had over 20 locations that we went out to. It's unbelievable. And you don't know how big of an impact the smallest things can have. It only takes a small thing. We had a crew in downtown Millsboro picking up trash. What a simple thing. What a simple thing to go do, but to share the love of Jesus through serving others in, not for recognition, not to get anything back, but to go and love on our city. And so over and over, we went to Georgetown and cooked breakfast for over 50 homeless people. We went to Sunshine Equine, which, by the way, you should look up Sunshine Equine when you have a chance. Sunshine, S-O-N, Shine Equine. They're a group of people who serve adolescent kids with the word and through being able to interact and engage with horses and horse training. And it's an amazing thing that they do. We were out there. We were at the beach cleaning up. We were all over. And some of you came in and you made what we call our Campus Free Fresh happen, which is amazing because part of serving our community is preparing a place for them to come and a place that is free of distractions. That's our goal. We want to remove as many distractions for people as possible, that when they walk through those doors, they're not worried about the windows being dirty. They're not worried about the dust in the vents or the chairs with the lint on them. What they're able to see is Jesus. That's what we want. We want to remove every distraction for them. And so we had 40-some people, around 40 people here yesterday out in the yard, in the flower beds, raking rocks, picking up sticks. Man, I just want you to know, Bayshore, I love my church. 400 of us mobilized in our community to live out our mission, which is to connect to God, connect to others, and to serve our community. And Serve Day is one of those days where it all happens at once. And so I just want to say thank you, Bayshore. Thank you for being on mission with us and jumping in and doing something that you may think, again, is not that big a deal, but has eternal and divine implications. And so today we're going to talk a little bit more about that and a little bit more about how to lean into serving and to using what God has given us. But I just want to start the day by saying thank you, each and every one of you, for who you are, why you're here, and what we did yesterday. So can we just give the Lord and yourselves a hand clap? Thank you, buddy. Well, today, like I said, I want to share a little bit about the heart of why we serve and why that's a main part of our mission and how to help you to engage with that. So we're going to start out in 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 9. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 9. It says, He has saved us and called us to a holy life, not because of anything we have done, but because of His own purpose and grace. Not because of anything that we have done, but because of His own purpose and grace. This grace was given us in Christ Jesus before the beginning of time. You see, what I want you to pick up on here is that God didn't just simply save you and that's it. It doesn't say that He has saved us by his grace and then just leave it there. It says that he saved us and called us for a purpose, but not just any purpose. It's for his purpose. He has saved us. He has called us for his purpose. So, right from the jump, I want to make sure we're all on the same page in what we're saying here, that it is about his purpose. It's all about Jesus, that he saved us for his purpose. He called us for his purpose. You are here for his purpose. It's all about him. Colossians 1:17 says, he is before all things, and in him all things hold together. In other words, ultimately, it's all about him, our lives, our gifts, our resources, our talents, our skills, all of our training, all of our opportunities, our salvation. It's all about him. He is before all things, and in him all things, not just some, all things are held together. So what I want you to see today is that your life and everything in it is for a purpose that is far bigger than you can probably even comprehend. It's far greater than anything you've imagined. I want you to hear today that you were specifically created. You were born. You are here living in Delaware. You are in this room today for a purpose. It's not by accident. It's for a purpose. And what a beautiful thing, what a beautiful concept for us to really get inside ourselves, that we can realize that our life is for the glory of God, that we, each one of us, are alive for something that is eternal, that has a divine purpose. All of that is in us. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, he has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to the end. I love this in the Amplified Bible. I want to read this to you from that as well. It says it this way: he has made everything beautiful and appropriate in its time. He has also planted eternity, a sense of divine purpose in the human heart, a mysterious longing which nothing under the sun can satisfy except God. Yet we cannot find out, comprehend, grasp what God has done, his overall plan from the beginning to the end. I think it's a very powerful thing for us when we realize, that you are created for something much, much bigger than yourself. That you are called, that you are purposed by God. And if we can understand that and get that in us, I believe that can change our life. It can change how we see our life. It can change how we approach everything we do. That we are called by God, that he has designed us specifically and given us everything for a purpose. And that purpose is greater than we can know. It's an eternal and divine purpose in our life. It is greater. This is what we just read in Ecclesiastes 3:11. This sense of divine purpose, which I would wager many of us have felt before, right? Like this sense that there is more here for us, that there's a bigger task that we have, that there is a greatness inside of you, but you just don't know how to maybe let it out. You don't know quite how to, put your finger on that feeling or that sense. And it's not something necessarily in our head, right? It's something we feel in our gut, that there's something bigger and greater that we are called to. We have a sense of divine purpose, like Ecclesiastes said. So, today, if you're like, okay, I'm in, I agree, right? I get it. I felt that feeling. I believe that we are called for a purpose. The question we need to answer then is, okay, well then what do we do now? What's next if we know that? You know, we've taken the step, we're following Jesus, we got baptized. You see that there's purpose that God has put in your life. You know that you're part of that purpose. You know that he created me for something more, but what now? How do I get from where I am to where God wants me to be in his purpose? How do I get out of this day-to-day existence and into fulfilling what God has placed in my heart to live out fully this divine sense of purpose that is inside me? What now? What do we do? I think there's a very familiar story that for years, for me, I never connected some dots on. But it's a story of Moses. And, you know, if you've grown up in church, you don't even have to maybe have grown up in church and you've heard the story of Moses, most likely. Moses was born an Israelite in Egypt under captivity. The Israelites were slaves to the Egyptians. And Moses was born, and at that time, the Pharaoh had commanded that all newborn children be killed. And so the story is they put Moses in a basket and sent him down the Nile River. And the basket ends up in Pharaoh's harbor or whatever it was, off his boat dock, I don't know. And they take Moses in, and he's raised in Pharaoh's house, which is miraculous of itself. But Moses grows up. Some things happen. He begins to have compassion on the Israelites, and he sees one of them getting beaten, ends up killing one of the guards, and is sent into the wilderness, into exile. And he's out in the wilderness, ashamed of what he had done. He's no longer in Pharaoh's home, no longer getting the benefits and everything that would come with that. And he's out in the wilderness, in the desert, and God comes to him in a burning bush. He speaks to him. He says, Moses, I have a purpose for you. And this purpose is so far beyond what Moses could even think or dream that could be accomplished. He used to go to Pharaoh and tell Pharaoh to let the Israelites go. And so you can imagine, Moses at that time, like what he would be thinking. And there's this beautiful verse in Exodus. And again, this is the thing I think I missed for years, but I want to read this to you. And this is kind of what I want you to really lean in here today. It's Exodus chapter 4. And Moses is in this experience, and God's telling him what's going to happen. Verse 1, Moses answers him. He says, what if they do not believe me or listen to me and say, the Lord did not appear to you? And look at what the Lord's response is to Moses. He simply says, what is in your hand? What is in your hand? And that's the question today that I want you to get, that I want you to ask, because I think this is so powerful, because I think the key to achieving what God has placed in our heart, that purpose, the key to unlocking that thing, that divine purpose that we feel, that the key can be found by what is in our hands right now. What is in your hands? Not literally, but what do you have now? Moses had no idea what he was going to do. And when he asked God, how am I going to do this? He simply says, what is in your hands? So I want to ask you today, what is in your hands? What are your talents? What comes natural to you? What is your training? What is your job? What is in your hand? And the reality is and I know you're probably thinking this, right? Like, well, none of that is meaningful or special or, nothing special about who I am or what I do or have right now or can do right now. But here you have God speaking to Moses, who would have felt that same way, to go to the most powerful man in the world at that time and to tell him to let the Israelites go. And it's funny, as if you read through the book of Exodus and as the Egyptians come out of exile, it is that staff that Moses had in his hands, if you remember correctly, that he plants in the water and the water separate for the Israelites to go. It is that staff that he carries that ends up bringing about the freedom for millions of Israelites to be led out of Egypt. It's that simple shepherd's rod that he had. So what is in your hand? What's in your hand today? To you, it might seem small or normal or mundane or everyday, like a shepherd and his rods. You don't see the value in what you have or what you can do. James 1:17 says this: every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father, the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. God created you and gifted you exactly the way you are. Exactly. For a purpose, for his purpose, and that was not by accident. You were not created by accident, because God, in him, there is no shifting or changing. God doesn't change his mind. When he designed you, he knew what he was looking for, and you are exactly it, each and every one of us. So everything you are and have is on purpose and by design, and God has called you to use it to fulfill his purposes, because it's all about him. So don't undervalue what God has placed in your hands. Don't undervalue it. I had a good friend when I was younger. First, I'd just gotten into ministry, and it was another leader who was serving with me. And we read this book. It's called The Only Road North. And man, you should get that book. Look that up. It's a great book. It's the story of these 4 friends who go to Africa, and they drive motorcycles, dirt bikes actually, all the way across to Africa and serving in different areas. And man, we read that book together, me and my friend, and it just kind of lit this fire inside of us, man. And we started dreaming and talking about how we could, impact the world through, going overseas maybe, or doing something grand for the Lord in that way, right? Like that book just really inspired us to want to do something just big for God. And so we were dreaming about, like, one day, going to Africa or going to India or going to the Middle East and trying to do something for the Lord. And so that was something we talked about and dreamt about. And what's funny is we both were just trying to be faithful to God in our own way. And my friend ended up, getting into business and, became extremely successful at business very quickly. And all kinds of influence, all kinds of, money was coming in. And what's funny is, you could look at that and say that he maybe didn't accomplish that dream that God had placed in his heart. But he was faithful to what God had placed in his hands at that time, and God blessed it. He was faithful to serve the Lord through what he had been given at that moment, what was in his hands. And what's funny is that it only took a few years, and he was able to get connected with people and was able to fund missionary trips to Africa and to the Middle East by just himself, just sending teams of people. He's able to plant wells, dig wells all across continents that are in need. He was able to be a part of an organization and a board that helped even do greater things than that. And so what's amazing is that by being faithful to what God had placed in his hands, this talent for business and this talent for administration and this talent for money, he was able to have the dreams that were placed in his heart fulfilled. And so why I'm telling you that is like, don't undervalue what you have and look at things as an obstacle to fulfilling your purpose or to fulfilling the dreams that are in your heart. Be faithful to what God has placed in your hands now and use them and allow God to work it out. Allow God to find and show you and reveal the purposes, the divine and eternal purposes that He has for you. So don't undervalue it. I think that we often think that we need to become something or someone else entirely altogether so that we can achieve these dreams or these purposes that we feel. But who you are, God created you that way. Just as that story of my friend, he was faithful to what God put in his hands, and God was able to fulfill his heart. So don't underestimate what you have in your hands. I want to give you 3 quick points today. If you're taking notes, these are the ones you would want to write down. Just 3 quick sort of things to hear. Accept the master's design is number 1. Accept the master's design. Psalms 139:14, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. I know that full well. I think the first part of that verse we kind of agree with, like God made everything, and everything is fearfully and wonderfully made, and your works are wonderful, God. But when we get to the part where we go, I know that full well, like I know that I was fearfully and wonderfully made, sometimes we can reject that, but it's true. Accept the master's design. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. He is a wonderful workman. Number 1, accept the master's design. Number 2 is start changing now. Don't wait. These aren't things, to take a look at what's in your hands and to begin to use them for God's purpose is not something you have to wait on. You don't have to be ready. You don't have to get your life together. You don't have to be cleaned up to get a shower, right? Start using what's in your hands now and see how God will reveal His purposes in that. Number 3 is keep trusting God. Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. So what's in your hands? How can you use it to fulfill what God's purpose is in your life? And I want to encourage you that some of the simple ways that you can begin to do that is, what has God gifted you in? Maybe some of you are great teachers. I was with someone yesterday morning. She can gather a group of people together and get them to go with her like nobody else I've ever seen in my life. She has the gift of gathering people and inviting and getting people to do that. So what's in your hands? It's a simple thing to invite and bring people maybe to church with you or to even to your home for a meal, whatever it is. What's in your hands? What can you use? What are you good at? Is it teaching? Some of you have talents that could be used on the stage, I know, in this room. And so is it a simple way to just begin to use what's in your hands to glorify God? Hospitality, administration. We had the serve team here yesterday doing the campus cleanup, and some of you are great at details, like finding details. Somebody cleaned the vents in the bathroom. Anybody else have your bathroom vents at home? They got a little dust on them, and we don't always pay attention because you got to look up and see them. But I noticed it today that somebody yesterday went in there and cleaned those vents. It's attention to detail. So where can you begin to use what's in your hand? We got so many opportunities at the church here that you can just begin to test that out. You can begin to just not wait, but just try it out. It doesn't have to, if it's not the right thing or if it doesn't feel right, it's not forever. You just try it out. Greeting people at the door. We get so many people who walk through our doors, and we'll do surveys and different things with our first-time guests. And the thing that they talk about the most is how welcoming and seen they feel when they walk through those doors because of people who are greeting them, saying hello, looking in their eyes, asking them their name, telling them Thanks for coming here. So, what's in your hands? What are you talented at? I mean, things as simple as saying hello and making somebody feel welcome. So, the charge today as we close, no sort of like big moment. What's in your hands? And how can you begin to use it? I encourage you, if you go to our church app or you go to our website, there's it's called More. There's a More tab. And then you'll see something that says Get Involved. And there you'll have an opportunity to just let us know where you might be interested in serving, where you might want to try out and serve. I want to encourage you to take a look at that, pray about that. But also, for some of you yesterday, my hope, my prayer is that you got a bug to go out and serve in the community more. And we've got groups that do that bi-monthly or monthly. We've got 2 groups. It's called our Missional Life Group. Again, if you go to the church app or the website, and you can click on groups and you can find them. And they do every month what we did yesterday. Opportunities to go out and to serve in different locations. We were at the shepherd's office in Georgetown, like I said, serving the homeless breakfast. We have a team out of Rehoboth that does that twice a month, I believe, if that's something you're interested in. They do all kinds of things. Diaconia, Halo. They do this thing called Laundry Love, which is a really cool thing where they partner with this organization. Go to laundromats with a bag full of coolers and just pay for people's laundry. So if you're interested in being more involved in serving, there's great opportunities to do that. And so just get on the church app, search for the small groups, Missional Life Group, or let us know in the lobby. We'll connect you. We've got people who can help you figure that out. Thank you guys for being here today. Can I just pray over you, and then we're going to go and enjoy. By the way, when we leave, we've got donuts to celebrate Serve Day and to just let you guys know how much we love you. Not just any donuts. Don't ask me the name of the place, but I've had one, and they will change your life. Just trust me on this. So hang out, celebrate. If ask somebody where they served yesterday, give them a high five and let them know how grateful we are through them. But let me pray for you as we go. Lord, I thank you so much, God, that you have saved us and you have called us for your purpose, God, and you've placed eternity in our heart and a divine purpose inside of us for you. And God, I want to speak over every person in this room, God, that you can begin to open their eyes to the amazing things in their life that you have given them, that you have created in them, and God, that you have done so with exacting purpose. God, let that sink into their souls and let them know fully how wonderfully and marvelous you have created them, God, and show them those things that they can now begin to use, those things in their hands, those simple things to live out that purpose and that dream that you've placed in them, God. I speak that over every person in this room. God, remind them this week as they maybe go through their normal routine, God, that you would open their eyes to see the things that you've given them that can be used for your purpose and for your goodness and for your kingdom, Lord. And so I thank you for what you're doing in our church and in our people, God. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Everybody said, amen.